So today I would like to show you how to make a little chick for your Easter bouquet, or just hanging it in your window in springtime. So Easter bouquets in Germany are very, very common, and it's really a celebration of spring, a celebration of rebirth of Jesus. And so Easter crafts are very liked in Germany. So wir machen ein kleines Osterkücken. And I also would like to show you how to make a floating duck, eine Schwimmente. This floating duck you can use in your bathtub and play with it there, or you can use outdoors on a little stream or on a little lake. Don't forget to put a string or attach a string to it, because otherwise it will run away on you. And now I will show you what you will need to make those crafts. So here is the chicken on the meadow, so das Küken auf der Wiese. I will show you now what we need. And we need first craft foam, Moosgummi, gelb, so in yellow. Then we need the pattern. We cut out the pattern from cardboard. It's easier than to draw it right on the foam. So das Muster aus Pappe. Now we need also some pretty little flowers. They can be plastic or they can be paper flowers. So if you want smaller flowers, so Plastikblumen oder Papierblüten. Und wir brauchen natürlich hier das Reindeer Moss. Auf Deutsch nennt man das Islandmoos. I have different colors here, so ich habe hier verschiedene Farben. Dann brauchen wir eine Unterlage. Then we need a cover for the tablecloth, so we don't damage the table. And I use hot glue. If you're not comfortable using hot glue, of course you can use regular glue as well. So now I have a pen, and with the pen I will trace the outline of my little chick onto the craft foam. Take your time so you have a nice outline. And it doesn't matter if it's 100%, but it should be fairly correct. And then, of course, you need two little wings. And after tracing those little patterns onto your craft foam, you need a pair of scissors. I use small scissors which are quite sharp. Of course, you can use whichever scissor you feel comfortable with and cut out those shapes. Now, because of course our little chick will have a nice red beak and black eyes, I take felt markers and just color nice big black eye on one side, and then I paint the beak. And don't use too much color, just enough to get it nice and even. And the other side. Nice big eye. And then our beak is done. And what I usually like to do is also color the edge because it looks nicer if the edge is the color of the beak as well. So now we are gluing the little wings, die Flügel, onto the chick, on das Küken. You can use regular glue. I use hot glue because it's faster. And if you use hot glue, make sure that you have an adult supervising, that you don't burn your fingers. I just apply a little bit on one wing. Make sure to align it just parallel to the back of the chick, and so we have a nice round form going down here. Then turn it around. Make sure you have the wing the correct orientation, and also we apply a little bit of the hot glue Heißkleber onto the wing and align it with the tail and the neck, and so we have a nice even line towards the back of that little chick. Now I take some of the reindeer moss. If you have a couple of loose ends, that doesn't matter, they will fall off easily. Make sure you have about the right length for the base. And I also apply some hot glue on the base of the chicken and put the reindeer moss on and press it down a little bit. Watch out you don't press too hard, because there's this hot glue underneath and that might burn your little fingers. Then I turn it around and apply some more glue on the other side. Again, make sure you press it down, but not too hard so you don't touch the hot glue. Okay, so now we have that chick already sitting on his meadow, and I'm using those plastic flowers, but I could also use little paper flowers. So we apply a little bit of glue to the stem and just push it a little bit into the moss, making sure to hold the moss tight until the glue is solid. And then we take the other one and put it in the back. Die nächste Blüte hinten, and just making sure it attaches. Turn it around. Put some glue on the flower stem and then Blütenstamm. Push it into the moss and hold it a little bit until the glue settles. And the last one goes to the back. And this one is a little bit crooked, so because I want to have it more upright, I put a little tiny dot of glue up here and push the flower in so it's more steady and doesn't fall off too easily. And there we already have our little chick. Because we want to hang it, I have some yarn, feines Garn, and I use a fine needle to hopefully get it in. So now, because the chick is not completely balanced, that if you have your hole up here, it would kind of lean back. So now I put the needle a little bit further back and see if it's more or less level, and just push the yarn through, and depending how long you want the hanger, tie it off with a little knot and cut off the excess. Not too short, so it doesn't open. And here you go. We have a second little chicken. And then you can decorate your Easter bouquet. Okay, and now I want to show you how to make those swimming ducks, kleine Schwimmente. You will need blue craft foam, blaues Moosgummi, white craft foam, weißes Moosgummi. Of course, you can use whatever color you like. You can even use different colors for the body and the wings, or you can later color it with waterproof paint. And then you need also the pattern. You need the body, 2 wings, and of course the floating device, so which is the blue part. So you take a fine pen again, and with the pen you trace the form of the duck. So it's easiest if your pattern is made out of sturdy cardboard, then you can just really use it almost like a ruler and go around it. Now we have to make sure that we have those 2 wings. And now we trace that leg or floating device. And probably you wonder why there's a dot in the middle. That dot I can more or less transfer it to the foam. If you're not so sure where it is, then just use a needle and poke through it, and then you can find that spot more easily and just put a little line there. Why do we need it? Because we need to center the duck later so it doesn't fall over because it's too far on the side. Now we cut out our shapes and make sure to cut out inside of the line so you don't have the black line later on the edges of your duck. And of course, if you want to, you can color it like the ducks you see outside, or like a loon, or any kind of water bird you know. So you have a wide variety of patterns you can apply for those little, I call it duck, but you can use other animal shapes as well. So now I'm using hot glue again, but of course you can still use your school glue. And with that, I'm attaching the wings, making sure that you have the right shape so the wide arch is the lower part and the not so thick one is the upper part. And I use the hot glue because it's just easier for me. Again, make sure to trim off those little brown spots. Side, making sure you have the orientation right. And we of course want nice little eyes and the beak again. So with a black marker you paint a nice big eye on the side, and then the beak. turn it over. Doesn't need to be too much color, but make sure you don't have large white spots left over. So just go over it in a nice pattern, and also make sure to paint the edges. So, den Schnabel rot und das Auge schwarz. Okay. So now, and here I would not recommend this glue because it just takes too long to set, and then you have the duck falling over. I use hot glue. You can also use instant glue, but also hot glue and instant glue always just under supervision of an adult, because you don't want to have your finger stuck to the leg. I apply the hot glue here on the bottom edge of the duck. Not too much, because otherwise you have those bumps on the side. And then make sure to put it right on top of that cross we had. And you can use the duck like this, but I actually like to have it a little bit more with sea roses or something like that. So you can make your own flowers out of the craft foam. And I just colored on the back little flowers and then cut them out and glue those on. Just a dot of glue. And here with that, I would recommend that you use waterproof glue. And that's why I also not recommend the school glue, because it would not last very long if you actually want to play with your duck in the water. So permanent waterproof glue is a lot better for that purpose. So, and I have attached my flowers, and I have one left over, and there we have 2 ducks, and they can win a race, whichever is faster.